Hi guys. Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will learn about the issue that has stunned all of Port Charles' mysterious case of Natalia's death, her shocking reappearance, and the downfall of Sonny Corinthos. What started as a routine overdose investigation has spiraled into one of the most dramatic story arcs in recent memory, filled with deception, betrayal, and emotional redemption. It began when Detective Harrison Chase responded to a distress call at a hotel room just outside Port Charles. Inside, he found the lifeless body of Natalia. Initial reports indicated an overdose. The scene was tragic and chaotic, with all the signs pointing to an accidental or perhaps intentional self-inflicted overdose. The medical examiner quickly confirmed what appeared to be a clear case of death by drugs. The news spread quickly. Friends, family, and especially Natalia's son, Marco, were devastated. Marco, who had already been questioning the circumstances surrounding his mother's state of mind, broke down in sorrow upon receiving confirmation of her death. But what no one knew, not Marco, not Chase, not even Sonny, was that Natalia wasn't actually dead. Behind the scenes, a calculated and elaborate deception had been orchestrated by none other than Sidwell, a man known for power, secrecy, and ruthless control. Sidwell, long aware of the escalating tension between Natalia and Sonny, feared for Natalia's life. He believed the only way to protect her from Sonny's growing hostility and influence was to make it appear as if she were dead. And so, with the help of a trusted medical contact and forged paperwork, he pulled it off: a fake overdose, a stage scene, and a flawless exit plan that led everyone to believe Natalia was gone for good. But Sidwell made one critical miscalculation: didn't consider Natalia's heart. While Natalia was physically safe and hidden away, she watched the world grieve her. Most painfully, she watched her own son Marco fall apart. She saw his tears, his anger, his confusion, his heartbreak, and the sight shattered her resolve. The guilt of watching Marco mourn her death became unbearable. Natalia could no longer remain silent. The price of her safety was too high. She could not bear to watch the people she loved spiral into grief while she remained hidden in the shadows. The turning point came on the day of her funeral. Friends, family, and a still shattered Marco gathered in Port Charles for the service. The atmosphere was heavy with sorrow. Marco stood before the crowd, delivering a eulogy through trembling lips, recalling memories of his mother and expressing regret over things left unsaid. No one could have imagined what was about to happen. Midway through the ceremony, the church doors creaked open. Gasps echoed through the chapel as a living, breathing Natalia walked down the aisle. The shock was immediate. Mourners stood frozen in disbelief, some dropping to their knees, others covering their mouths in astonishment. Marco stood paralyzed, his eyes wide with a mixture of disbelief and joy. His mother lived. Natalia, dressed in black, walked slowly to the front, pausing before the casket. With the eyes of the entire town upon her, she turned to face the crowd and dropped the bombshell no one saw coming. She announced not only her return from the dead, but also the real reason behind the deception and the truth about Sonny Corinthos. Natalia revealed that she had been forced into hiding because Sidwell believed Sonny was planning to kill her. But more than that, she now possessed irrefutable proof of Sonny's criminal activities, even he thought he had destroyed. In her hands were documents, recordings, and files that detailed years of illegal transactions, cover-ups, threats, and violent acts carried out at Sonny's orders. Everything he had tried to keep buried was now in the light, thanks to Natalia's daring decision to expose him. The room erupted into chaos. Some rushed forward to embrace Natalia, others scrambled to understand what they had just heard. But the message was clear. Natalia was alive, and she had come back not just for Marco, but to seek justice. Within hours, law enforcement mobilized. Natalia handed over the files to Detective Chase and the district attorney's office. With mounting evidence in hand, the police moved quickly. That same day, Sonny Corinthos was arrested. The charges ranged from conspiracy to commit murder, obstruction of justice, racketeering, and a list of financial crimes that would take months to process. When confronted by police, Sonny didn't resist. He knew the walls had finally closed in. But his remorse didn't stem from his crimes, it came from the fact that he hadn't stopped Natalia when he had the chance. During interrogation, Sonny admitted that part of him had considered silencing her for good, and he now regretted not doing so when he had the opportunity. That confession sealed his fate. Meanwhile, Marco was experiencing a whirlwind of emotions. From the depths of grief to the heights of joy, he found himself reunited with the one person he thought he'd lost forever. The moment he saw his mother alive, all his suspicions and lingering doubts about her death made sense. They embraced, tears falling freely. Their reunion was raw and emotional, filled with whispered apologies and heartfelt confessions. Natalia apologized for letting him suffer. She told him everything: how Sidwell planned the fake death, how she reluctantly agreed, and how she could no longer live with the guilt of seeing him mourn her. Marco, in turn, expressed his heartbreak, his confusion, and ultimately his forgiveness. He told her that nothing else mattered now. She was alive, and they were together. Their conversation turned deeply emotional as they sat in the very room where the funeral had just ended. They spoke about everything they had been through: Natalia's reasons for disappearing, Marco's rage at Sidwell, and their shared relief that the truth had finally come out. For Marco, it was a moment of clarity. His mother had been pushed into a corner and made the only choice she could. And in the end, she chose to come back for him. Sidwell, while not facing legal repercussions for the fake death thanks to careful planning, and Lufo faced public scrutiny. Many in Port Charles questioned his judgment, his tactics, and his morality. Yet others saw him as a man who did what he had to do to protect someone he loved. Sidwell remained unapologetic, insisting that his actions saved Natalia's life. His relationship with Marco remained tense but intact for now. As Sonny sits behind bars, facing what may be the end of his long reign of power, Port Charles begins to shift. Alliances fracture, power dynamics change, and longtime residents are left to process the stunning downfall of a man who once seemed untouchable. Natalia, now free and unafraid, remains in Port Charles, determined to repair her life, reconnect with her son, and help rebuild what was broken. Her bravery not only saved herself but helped dismantle one of the most dangerous power structures in the city. Her story has become one of survival, courage, and the ultimate act of truth-telling. Marco, now finally at peace with the truth, finds himself ready to start a new chapter. He has his mother back, Sonny is out of his life, and his path, though still full of challenges, is clearer than ever. And for the citizens of Port Charles, the resurrection of Natalia and the exposure of Sonny's crimes will leave a lasting imprint on the fabric of the town. Friendships will shift, loyalties will be tested, and the question remains: what will rise in the power vacuum Sonny has left behind? Next, we will dive deep into a simmering mystery that has kept fans on the edge of their seats for over a year. Isn't Drew Kane acting like the man we all know and love? In Port Charles, whispers of betrayal, hidden agendas, and jaw-dropping twists have surrounded Drew, leading to wild fan theories and intense speculation. One particularly intriguing idea from a dedicated viewer has sparked a firestorm of debate, and we're here to unpack it with fresh insights, expanded details, and a closer look at the tangled web of secrets that might just change everything we thought we knew about Drew and the shadowy forces pulling the strings in this beloved soap opera. Let's start by setting the stage with a moment that rocked the very foundation of relationships in Port Charles. It's been a full year since that fateful 4th of July celebration when Drew shared a passionate, illicit kiss with Willow Tate under the dazzling fireworks. This moment of weakness didn't just ignite a scandalous romance, it shattered trust, leaving Michael Corinthos reeling from the sting of betrayal. But even before that explosive encounter, longtime fans had already sensed something was terribly off with Drew. His actions were erratic, his decisions baffling, as if the compassionate and honorable man we once knew had vanished into thin air. Could this kiss have been the first major clue that Drew wasn't himself, or was it merely a symptom of a deeper, more sinister transformation? Rewind a few months before that scandalous smooch, and we find Drew making another shocking choice that left viewers stunned. Out of nowhere, he severed his deep connection with Carly Spencer, a woman who had stood by him through countless storms. His reasoning: a seemingly irrational jealousy over Carly's rekindled friendship with Jason Morgan, who had famously returned from the dead. But that wasn't the end of Drew's uncharacteristic behavior. He soon found himself entangled in a bitter, almost spiteful romantic encounter with Nina Reeves, a woman he had previously shown little interest in. This volatile fling seemed less about passion and more about lashing out, as if Drew were a man possessed by impulses he couldn't control. And then came the ultimate power play: Drew's sudden decision to run for congressman, a move that hinted at a grander, more calculated scheme to dominate Port Charles. Was this ambition always lurking beneath the surface, or is someone or something else steering Drew down this dark path? Enter a fascinating theory from GH superfan Sheila Lambert, who recently shared her bold speculation with Soap Hub. Sheila posits a chilling scenario: the Drew we've been watching for the past year may not be the real Drew Kane at all. According to her, the true Drew might face a tragic fate, potentially sparking a classic whodunit storyline that could grip viewers for months. But that's not all. Sheila believes Drew was replaced by a doppelganger during his time in Pentonville prison, orchestrated by none other than the notorious Cyrus Renaud and Carly's enigmatic new love interest, Jack Brennan. She even suggests that Cyrus, presumed dead by many, might still be alive, pulling strings from the shadows. This theory isn't just a wild guess, it's rooted in the murky history of Port Charles, where double crosses and hidden identities are practically a rite of passage. Could Sheila's hunch be the key to unraveling Drew's bizarre behavior, or is it just another tantalizing red herring? Delving deeper into this theory, let's consider the timeline and connections that make it so compelling. Drew's stint in Pentonville overlapped with Cyrus's own imprisonment, a period marked by violence and whispered conspiracies. Fans may recall the brutal beating Drew endured behind bars, an event that left him physically scarred and, according to some characters, emotionally altered. Portia Robinson herself remarked recently that Drew hasn't seemed like the same man since that incident, her medical instincts picking up on subtle shifts in his demeanor and decision-making. Could that beating have been a cover for something far more sinister, a carefully planned switch with a look-alike trained to mimic Drew's every move? And if so, who is this imposter? And what is their ultimate goal in impersonating one of Port Charles's most pivotal figures? The involvement of Jack Brennan adds another layer of intrigue to this already complex puzzle. Brennan's past alliance with Cyrus is no secret. The two men shared a bond forged in schemes and mutual ambition. When Jocelyn Jacks believed she had fatally shot Cyrus, it was Brennan who stepped in to handle the aftermath, allegedly covering up the death. But what if there was no death to cover up? What if Cyrus faked his demise, with Brennan's help, to escape the scrutiny of Port Charles and continue his reign of chaos from the shadows? This possibility raises chilling questions about Brennan's true intentions with Carly and whether his charm masks a dangerous agenda. Is he grooming Drew's imposter to execute a takeover of the town, or does he have even darker plans in store? As we ponder these mysteries, let's not forget the potential fallout if Sheila's theory proves true. If the real Drew is out there somewhere imprisoned, injured, or worse, what does that mean for the relationships he's built over the years? Willow, Michael, and Carly have all been deeply affected by Drew's actions, their lives upended by choices that may not even belong to the man they thought they knew. Imagine the heartbreak and chaos that would erupt if the truth comes to light, forcing everyone to question who they can trust. And if Cyrus is indeed alive, his return could unleash a wave of vengeance unlike anything Port Charles has seen before. With the so-called Digitalis killer targeting enemies old and new in his quest for power. But let's take a moment to explore an angle that hasn't been widely discussed: the psychological toll this situation might be taking on the imposter himself, if one exists. Playing the role of Drew Kane can't be easy, especially in a town where everyone knows everyone's business. Does this mystery man ever slip up in private moments, haunted by the weight of the lies he's living? Perhaps late at night, when the hustle of Port Charles fades, he wrestles with guilt over the pain he's causing, or maybe he's a cold, calculated operative who feels nothing at all. This inner conflict could add a rich, dramatic layer to the storyline, giving viewers a glimpse into the mind of someone trapped between duty and deception. There's also the question of how far this conspiracy extends. If Cyrus and Brennan are indeed behind a Drew swap, who else in Port Charles might be complicit? Could other beloved characters, perhaps even those closest to Drew, hiding secrets of their own, either knowingly or unwittingly aiding the deception? The ripple effects of such a plot could touch every corner of the town, from the Quartermain mansion to the docks, turning allies into enemies and exposing long-buried grudges. The writers of General Hospital have always excelled at crafting intricate, interconnected narratives, and a storyline like this could provide fertile ground for months of compelling drama. Next, We will unravel the heart-wrenching mystery that has gripped Port Charles this week: shocking disappearance of baby Daisy Gilmore Corinthos, leaving Sasha Gilmore in a state of utter despair. As the drama unfolds at the iconic Quartermaine mansion, strange happenings and shadowy figures have cast a dark cloud over Sasha and her newborn daughter. With suspects lurking around every corner and emotions running high, we're diving deep into the chaos, exploring new angles, and piecing together the puzzle of Daisy's potential kidnapping with added details and fresh perspectives. Buckle up, GH fans, as we navigate this emotional roller coaster together. Let's begin with the unsettling events that have plagued Sasha and baby Daisy since the very start of their journey together. From the moment Daisy was born at ABC General Hospital, nothing has felt quite right. In a bizarre mix-up right after delivery, hospital staff initially brought Sasha the wrong infant, a mistake she instantly recognized with a mother's unerring instinct. Though the error was corrected, it planted a seed of unease. Once Sasha finally brought her precious girl home to the sprawling Quartermaine estate, the oddities only multiplied. One eerie night, after tucking Daisy into her crib, Sasha returned to find her daughter dressed in a different onesie and positioned in the opposite direction, a feat no newborn could manage on their own. Even more chilling, the crib's musical mobile, which had been off, was mysteriously playing a haunting lullaby. These incidents hinted at an unseen presence, someone or something watching their every move. Could these be the early signs of a calculated plan, or simply coincidences amplified by a sleep-deprived mother's fears? The tension reached a shattering climax in a recent episode that left viewers breathless. Sasha and Michael Corinthos, Daisy's devoted father, gently laid their daughter down for a nap in her nursery, the room filled with the soft glow of a nightlight. Everything seemed peaceful, a rare moment of calm amidst the storm. But that tranquility was short-lived. Later that evening, the baby monitor crackled to life with Daisy's cries piercing the silence. Sasha rushed upstairs, her heart pounding, only to be met with a sight that turned her blood to ice. The crib was empty. Daisy was gone. In a blind panic, Sasha stumbled to Michael, her voice trembling as she gasped, "Somebody took our daughter." The raw terror in her eyes mirrored the dread felt by every fan watching. Was this truly a kidnapping, or could there be a simpler, less sinister explanation buried beneath the surface of this shocking scene? Before we dive into the list of suspects, let's explore the possibility that this disappearance might not be as nefarious as it appears. The Quartermaine mansion is a bustling hive of family members, any one of whom could have innocently played a role in Daisy's vanishing act. Tracy Quartermaine, with her sharp tongue but secretly soft heart, might have heard the baby fussing and decided to scoop her up for a soothing stroll through the mansion's grand halls. Or perhaps Ned Quartermaine, ever the doting grandfather figure, took Daisy to another room to rock her back to sleep, and aware of the panic his actions would cause. Babies often calm down when walked or cuddled, and with so many well-meaning relatives under one roof, it's plausible that Sasha's alarm could be a misunderstanding. There's also the chance that the GH writers are toying with our emotions, using clever editing in the promo to heighten drama while Daisy remains safe within the estate's walls. After all, the show has pulled such tricks before, leaving us to wonder if this is just another heart-stopping cliffhanger. However, the darker alternative cannot be ignored, especially given the disturbing evidence of a stalker shadowing Sasha and Daisy for weeks. Reports of an unknown figure lingering outside the Quartermaine property have surfaced, their presence felt in fleeting glimpses through windows and unsettling noises in the night. Worse still, signs point to this intruder having breached the sanctity of the home itself, meddling with Daisy's belongings in ways that defy innocent explanation. If Daisy has indeed been kidnapped, the list of potential culprits is long and fraught with motive. From personal grudges to psychological breakdowns, the residents of Port Charles harbor secrets that could drive someone to commit such a desperate act. Let's assume, for the sake of this unfolding mystery, that Daisy has been taken by someone with ill intent, and turn our attention to those who might have the means and motive to tear a child from her mother's arms. One name rises to the top of the suspect list with heartbreaking plausibility: Willow Tate. Willow's recent struggles have been nothing short of tragic, as she grapples with the devastating loss of custody over her own children, Wiley Quartermaine Corinthos and Amelia Grace Corinthos. The courtroom battle that stripped her of her maternal rights pushed her to the brink, culminating in a public breakdown so severe that she required hospitalization at ABC General Hospital. Each day without her kids seems to erode a little more of Willow's stability, her grief morphing into a palpable desperation. In a reckless bid to see Wiley, she orchestrated a forbidden encounter at the Metro Court pool, only for Michael to whisk their son away, leaving her shattered once more. Upcoming spoilers suggest Drew King Quartermain steps in to caution Willow against further stunts, hinting at her spiraling state of mind. Could this emotional turmoil have driven her to an unthinkable act? Digging deeper into Willow's potential role, it's impossible to overlook her access and opportunity. As a nurse at the very hospital where Daisy was born, Willow was present during the unsettling baby swap incident, with knowledge of the nursery's layout and staff routines. Her familiarity with the environment could have allowed her to manipulate events from the start, perhaps even planting the seeds of confusion. If Willow's grief and anger, possibly fueled by resentment over Sasha's past indiscretion with Michael, pushed her past her breaking point, she might have snapped in a moment of temporary insanity. Imagine a scenario where Willow, lost in delusion, convinces herself that Daisy is somehow hers, a replacement for the children she's lost. Taking the infant could be her twisted way of reclaiming a piece of the motherhood stolen from her. While horrific, this act would at least ensure Daisy's safety in the hands of someone who, despite her fractured mind, would likely care for her tenderly. The fallout, however, could be direct, potentially landing Willow in Shady Brook for psychiatric care. Beyond Willow, other suspects loom on the horizon, each with their own tangled web of reasons to target Sasha and her daughter. Could a vengeful figure from Sasha's past, perhaps tied to her tumultuous history with drugs and deception, have resurfaced to exact revenge by stealing her most precious treasure? Or might a lesser-known Quartermain family member, driven by hidden jealousy over Michael's attention to Sasha, have orchestrated this disappearance to sow discord? There's even the chilling possibility of an outsider, a hired hand working for a larger, unseen enemy of the Corinthos clan, slipping through the mansion's defenses under the cover of night. The Quartermain estate, for all its grandeur, has never been impenetrable, and its sprawling layout offers plenty of blind spots for an intruder to exploit. As we piece together these theories, it's worth considering the broader implications of Daisy's disappearance on the fabric of Port Charles. A kidnapping of this magnitude would send shockwaves through every family tied to the Quartermains and Corinthos, reigniting old feuds and forging unlikely alliances in the desperate search for the missing child. Michael, already a protective father, might channel his fear into a relentless hunt for answers, potentially clashing with law enforcement or even taking justice into his own hands. Sasha, meanwhile, could find herself battling not just terror but overwhelming guilt, questioning every decision she's made as a mother. The emotional stakes are astronomical, promising a storyline that will keep us glued to our screens as secrets unravel and truths come to light. In wrapping up this deep exploration of baby Daisy's mysterious vanishing, one thing is certain: General Hospital has once again masterfully woven a tale of suspense that tugs at our heartstrings. Whether Daisy is safe within the Quartermain mansion, misplaced by a well-intentioned relative, or in the clutches of a tormented soul like Willow, the journey to uncover the truth promises to be fraught with emotion and unexpected twists. As we await the next episodes, we're left to ponder the motives of those closest to Sasha and Michael, and the shadowy figure who may have been watching from the wings all along. What are your thoughts, GH fans? Who do you believe is behind Daisy's disappearance, and will she be returned to her family unharmed? Share your theories in the comments below, and stay tuned for more updates and spoilers right here on ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel.